right. Ah, what is today? Thursday? How are we doing? As promised, did I did I promise this? Did I promise this? I don't know if I promised or not, but I'm going to do it. And that is to whoops, let me get stuff organized here. To let's see. To see what the pointing to point out the oh, here it is. I had the wrong window. To point out the hill giant, Steading of the hill giant chief, to kind of see how it works, see how it would work with the kind of the, I guess, settlement point crawling that I've got going on here in the Joy Hex map. So now, of course, this is an adventure. So I'm not looking for an exact match necessarily. I have to be able to get it direct. I have to be able to get it, absolutely. But I want to see how close I get to it, and that will give me some ideas of how I want to proceed. If I want to tweak the numbers at all, or if I want to try to figure out some other things. So anyway, we need to figure out how many critters there are running around and accounting for them. For the most part, I think it's going to be interesting how to think about things like pets. Do pets? I presume they get. We'll have to basically, I guess, pretty much go through it. I don't think. So first of all, yeah. So it'll be interesting to do it in inventory. So first, we just kind of got to inventory everything. Hey, Ian, we have to inventory things first. And one of the reasons why it's not going to be perfect is that, oops, no, this one. We have wandering creatures within because it's a dungeon. It's not it's it's got kind of, well, we just have to account for it. So we have orcs. We'll just say 12 because you can get up to 12, and that would be. Let me see, and I'm going to have to be going. I have the other PDFs for basic and expert. What does an orc come out to being? I think an orc is just 1 HD, right? I don't think it's anything. Ogre is 4 + 1. Orcs are 1. So those would be 12 points. So that's 1. 2 hill giants from 11. So that might be. Well, I won't put them in there because if they're, I don't want. I'm going to try not to do. I'm going to try not to double my accounting. So the orcs seem like they're just they're servants. They're kind of running around, getting shields for platters, things like that, rushing around. So okay, so I'm not gonna. And this is just the upper level. So I guess I should maybe we'll have to put in. So we got multiple levels here. So the upper level, we got the orcs. I'm going to, if these 2 hill giants are part of room 11, which is the long hall. Let's see. Are there any? This place contains trestle tables, benches, stools, etc. To the north of the fire pit is a higher table where the chief, his wife, the cloud giant, and the cloud giant, the sub chief, and the 3 stone giants are seated. On the wall directly behind the chief is a small ballista, which he uses as a crossbow. It fires spears, and there are 6 barrels and kegs. There is singing, talking, laughing, shouting, arguing, wrestling, joking, and the like going on. So the place is a veritable din of noise. The following creatures are in the hall. So there are 22 stone giants in the hall. Now I'm going to leave out, if I'm remembering correctly, with the story of this is that he's having a meeting. The chief is having a meeting with us. So I'm not going to include the stone giants or the cloud giant. They are visitors. But of course, I am going to include the hill giants. They're there because they're part of and the chief. So we have the hall, which is room 11, upper floor. I'm just going to put some rough things in here because I want to go back and finish. Fights as a, so he's a chief frost giant. So he's actually, if we go to frost giants, they are 10 hit dice plus 1. 10 HD plus 1, and I'll have to get to the points. Wife is a hill giant, so she's 8 HD. And then there are 22 hill giants. And they're all 8 HD. This is a mid to high level adventure, remember? Originally a tournament adventure. So this is not something your average small low level band's going to be into, but still, okay. Formidable, I guess I should say. Where was I? I was down here. There we go. All right, now let's go back to, okay, so that was that. Oh, the 8 ogres. I think they are here, right? So there we got 8 ogres. How many hit die are ogres? Where are they? I think ogres might be in the basic book. I will, since I'm in this one, I will check it first. Yeah, but I was right. So ogres are, there we go, 4 plus 1. Okay, so there's that's a there's a lot of points. There's a lot of points just in that one room. All right, now going back, let's go back up to the wandering table. So we had the 2 orcs. I'm going to skip over those. I'm also going to skip over those 3 ogres because they're ogres that are accounted for in the other room, and that's also okay. All right. So great. So the only ones that aren't accounted for in the hall are, oh no, so we have more. Sorry, 1 to 4 from 13 to 11. So that's another room. I'm not going to, the cloud giant and stone giants are visitors, so that's fine. I'm not going to worry about that. The giantess, I'm guessing, is the wife of the hill giant, so she's already accounted for. Anything that's from a room, I'm going to wait to get from the room. Yeah, those are 2d8. Okay, great. So the only ones that are not accounted for, I'm getting, it seems to be in the rooms, are the 4 to 12 orcs. So great. So now we can go through and do the individual rooms. So we've got, well, I guess we got 12 points, right? 12 points total. I guess I'll just go ahead and bold that. The chief, let's see. Oh, I don't have publisher open, so I'm going to need that. I'm going to need publisher open. Take a sip of Spindrift Grape Aid for the working man. Yeah, I don't need you. I need you. So now my current pricing is somewhere down. Oh, here? No? Hello, where are you? Here. All right, so 10 HD plus X creatures equal to half their base cost. So a 6 plus 3 HD curl, 6 times 10 plus 3 times. Okay, so 8 points. All right. So the hill giant chief is 80 points because it's 8 points for those 10 HD, but then plus 1, so it's 4. So he's 84 points. The wife is 64 points. And then if I hit my calculator, what do we have? 64 times 11 times 22. Whoosh. That's 1,408 points. And this is 8 ogres at 4 points. So a 4-point critter. 4-pointer is 4 points. So each one, that's 16, 18 points. So 18 times 4, 72. So what's our total? 72 plus 1408 plus 64 plus 84. Whew, that's a big number. Well, we're at 1,628 points. That might just put us underwater right away, but we'll have to see, because that's just, oh man, that's a lot of points, and that's just one room. Though it's a big room, and then the wanderers. Okay. All right, so then we have the entry and cloakroom, which has got 2 hill giants in it. HD. That'd be 128 points if I'm remembering right. 64. 8 times 8 times 2. Okay. Steps leading up. All right, that's fine. The sub chief. Under the first of the bed is a sleeping giantess. Oh, so is she not there? Where is she? Interesting. So this place contains a scattering. So is she the sub chief? Or, all right, well, we'll have to just put her in there. Because I can't tell. It's hard to say, and it's been a long time since I've really read this. Hard to say if she's supposed to be the same giantess or another one. So I'm just gonna put her as separate, because she's sleeping, so she's not in the. It seems like they've been pretty good about telling us kind of where people are and where people are moving to. So I'm just going to assume that she is a different person, a different giantess than the chieftain's wife. So we have 12 young giants. That's the dormitory. Dormitory. They're pointed differently, so I'm going to assume they're 8 HD also, which would be 64 times 12. If they gave them different hit dice, I would give them different hit dice as well, but they don't. So I'm just going to assume that they maybe just went on the lower end of the 8 hit die scale, because you could roll because they given them hit points, but these are 8 hit die creatures. All they'll fight is ogres. Oh, never mind. They're a little bit. No, never mind. I was wrong. They're 4 plus 1, which makes them 18 points each. Never mind. I spoke too soon. 18 times 12 is equal to 216. Still, no. Okay. That's the dormitory. Barracks. 2 more hill giants. And the thing is, I'm going to definitely want to adjust these numbers potentially, because I think part of the thing is I kept stumbling over trying to say is that given that it's built like an adventure and not like what I'm doing, means that they're not going to be. I'm playing with slightly different rules than they are, because I'm trying to look at it like as in looking at it from the what can the terrain, like what can everything support, sort of from an organic thing, as opposed to if you're building a dungeon or you're building a thing for an adventure, it doesn't really matter. I think that's kind of like all the stuff that I'm doing, it's great, and I have fun with it, and I like to see, well, what can you make with this, and what do those limitations do for you, and all this stuff. But ultimately, if you really wanted to make you wanted to plunk a Steading of Hill Giants down, I wouldn't get wrapped up in the numbers, but I like to look at it and think about, well, what would my version of that be? What is, if I was going to build a Steading using the system, like what would that look like, and what would I need to do? I think the other part is looking at it, okay, as a single hex, but maybe I have to do, like what I was working on the other day with expanding things outward. Well, maybe they could do that, but they're going to have to expand outwards to make that happen. And so it might be interesting, multiple reasons to see how it works. But first thing, I got to get the numbers out to see where we stand. So 2 Hill Giants. The Hill Giants are 64 points each. Oh, so again, it's 128 points. All right. And then I think that's it for the, right, that's the barracks. Maid's chamber. Does it say if they're statted differently? Let's see. Note that the maids do not particularly want the oh, there's some potions there. Okay. All right. So maid's chamber. What is going on? So we got the maid's chamber. That's 3, 4. 4 little giants. Just to remind myself, 8 hit die. 8 hit die. So we're talking about 64 times 4, 256. 256 points. I did the Great Hall. Let's come back here. Hall of the Chief. Well, let's see. No one's in there. Great. She is a 1-1. Oh, she is at 1-1. All right, that's fine. Pet cave bear. So that's in the chamber of the chief's wife. So obviously the chief wife and that giantess, the sub chief, are not the same. So that's glad I accounted for them separately. Chamber of the chief's wife. There's a cave bear. What are the stats of a cave bear? I think that's going to be in basic. Bear, comma, cave. That's what I'm betting on. Anyway. Bear, grizzly, cave. Where is it? Oh, there you are. Wow, 7 hit dice. So it's no joke. 7 hit dice. Does that cross a threshold? I think it might. Nope, 6+. All right. So 56 points. And then Chief's chamber, he's not there. Arms room, nobody's there. Small dining room, nobody's there. We got the long hall. Arsenal room, nobody's there. Weapons room, nobody's there. See, notice, I think one thing that's interesting, a lot of these rooms are functionally empty. I mean, I guess maybe I shouldn't say functionally. Well, they don't have anybody in there, but they got stuff. You know, the small dining room has stuff. There's even some scroll tubes snuck in there. There's arms, there's an armory, essentially. The chief's chamber, all of them, most of the rooms on this top floor don't have anybody in them because they're all in that. Because remember, like what I talked about in the video from yesterday, though we're now relating it to dungeons, there's an event taking place. So they are at the event. Main guest chamber, nobody's there. Nobody's there. All right, so I think, is that it for the... We got more rooms. Common room, nobody's there. This is a typical giant kitchen. All right, so we definitely have some people here, which also makes sense because it's the kitchen. Hello. Kitchen. So I wonder if the 29 orc slaves are in addition to the 12, to the 4 to 12 that could be running around. I bet you they're not. So these 12 orcs, I'm going to say, are part of the 29 because they're definitely serving. They even talk about, oh, they're carrying around platters based with whatever. So I'm just going to put there are 12 there, so there's another 17 here. And then who else have we have? 5. Assume all creatures here have absolutely average hit points the ogres having, but 12 due to their age. There's nothing of value. So just the 5 giantesses, but still 5 hill giants is a lot. So was it 64 times 5? 320. Okay. Now the kitchen workroom. Servants' quarters. Let's see. 6 giantess maids, non-combatants, and a handsome giant warrior. Non-combatants. What do I do with the non-combatants? This is the first time that I think that they've called these giantesses non-combatants. So the serving maids, they don't have listed as non-combatants. So as non-combatants, I'm going to take them off the table. I'm not worried about non-combatants here for the most part. So I'm going to say, okay. So this is the servants' quarters. Sorry, servants' quarters. Three hill giants, 1 HD, non-combatants. Is it combatants or combatants? Combatants. Okay, so 0. Let me just make it clear. 0. Or actually, I'll go 0 and then in parentheses. Whoops. Then we've got 1 hill giant, 8 HD, 64 points. Okay. Orc slave quarters. So there's two here. Orc slave quarters. Poor orcs. 2 orcs. Die. 2 points. So they actually, I'll point them out, but they'll help people. Ogre quarters. The hill giants employ ogres for scouts, messengers, servants, and the like. For the ogres are trusty flunkies. Nice. I think that's a technical term, flunky, as used here. As well as hard workers and fighters. In addition to those in the Great Hall and the young at work in the kitchen area, there are 5 of them here. So there are 5. Hey, Jason. Oh, and hey, Krister. I missed that. Hey, Jason. I'm pointing out. So I'm trying to figure out what the steading of the hill giant chief, as in G1, how that would work out if I was going to populate it using the point system that I've been working on. So I needed to figure out how much everything costs. So that's what I'm doing. So I'm going through all I'm cataloging all the creatures in the rooms, see how much they are. They're 5. Ogres are, what are they? What did I have them listed as? Did I have ogres before? 4 plus 1. Which means that they are, what did I end up saying for 4 plus 1? 6 points per. Yeah. So they're 20. Yeah, 6 times 4, what, 24 plus 3, 27 per ogre. Did I get that right? Did I do that the same way? No, that can't be right. 70. Hold on, I did something wrong. Something is wrong. Ogres are 4 plus 1. Oh, 4 points per. Okay, sorry. So they're 4 times 4, 16 plus 2, 18. So they're 18 each times 5. So these are 90 points worth of ogres. We have an open compound with some dire wolves. Okay. Open compound. We've got 14 dire wolves. How many hit points is a dire wolf? Is it in basic or expert? Anyone want to take a guess? I'm going for basic first because I feel like wolves will show up there unless they've got them split up. Wolf, nope, dire. Here we go. 4 plus 1. 4 plus 1 hit die. So they're also 16. And there's 14 of them. Woo! 16 times 14, 224 points. All right. Well, we're getting there. Let's see. Guard room, nobody's there. Barracks room, nobody's there. All right, I think that's it for the first. All right, woohoo! We're down to the dungeon level. We've got. Now, these don't say that they're from a particular room, so I'm going to assume they are literally wandering. Monsters. Dungeon level. All right. What we got here? So we got 4 ogres. I know we know we did 4 ogres before. That was 8 ogres. Well, 72. I think they were 18 each, so 36. Oh. Yeah, that would be 36. Right? 4 plus 1, 16 to 18. What's 18 times 4? Might have to double check my math in some spots. 72. Yeah, so what did I have? Did I screw up the ogres up here? No, yeah, I did. No. 18 times 8. 144. Yeah, I had. I'll have to let me recalculate this room then, so I got it wrong. So we had 84 plus 64 plus 1408 plus 144. 1700. Oh, look at that. It's a cleaner number. 1700. All right. So that's the ogres. But we're not done in this wandering creature. So we also have the keeper, C2 below, and his pet. So there, I'll put them with room 2. Wow, he's got carnivorous apes as pets. Oh yeah. All right, I'll save him since he's in a room description. Wait a minute. So 12 orcs are here raiding for food? Raiding what? What exactly are they raiding? I don't know. 12 orcs, that's fine because they're easy to point out since they're just 1 hit die each. They're just 12 points. The lizards are from a room, and we have some carrion crawlers. I'm just going to point it out as 3 carrion. Though actually, you know what? I'm not going to point the carrion crawlers, and I think that's just because they're pests. They're not. You're populating. You're not populating the carrion crawlers. So I'm gonna leave them alone. But we do have. So we have the marshalling area. It's in there. Chamber of the Keeper. Right. This is where we got that guy and his pet carnivorous apes. We got. Let's see. So we have one Hill Giant who's. What is that? 8 hit die. That's 64 points. And 2 carnivorous apes. I spelled carnivorous wrong. And those are, okay, well, let's see. I don't know if carnivorous, where are carnivorous apes, we think? Get down to brass tacks. How much for the ape? That's not a scroll or in treasure. We have, am I going the wrong way? I think I am. I don't think it's here. I think it must be here. But is it under C or A for ape? Ape. Oh, okay. I went way too far. Let's see. No ape over here. How about carnivorous? No carnivorous ape. All right. Well, maybe I guess I was wrong. Well, what are we getting over here if I go to carnivorous apes? Tried to do a search, but it wasn't working. Under C or A? I'm going to say it must be. I'm going to think it's C. I don't think that they, whoops. Well, I can check right here. Where's A? Oh, no, I hadn't gotten too far. Dragon. Here we go. Cat, great. No carrion crawler, but no carnivorous ape. So, stands to reason, white ape. No carnivorous ape. Well, where's a carnivorous ape? Should I just use a white ape? What's the deal? Where is the carnivorous ape? Or I'm just going to use a white ape. Because they're actually 4 hit dice, so there's no slouches. So they'd be 16, so 32 points. Somebody let me know if there's a different white ape stat block, but I feel like it's going to be close enough. They're not giving me any, they just give me some hit points, so I have no idea. And 29 and 26 is within the realm of possibility for 4 hit dice. You're assuming that they're doing 8 d8s for hits. Brian asks, any ape is carnivorous if it's hungry enough, right? I suppose. These may be particularly hungry. Look at that, you get 4 potions of water breathing. Well, that's going to be useful. I mean, I don't think that everything has to be useful, but water breathing is one of those things that's super useful in some very niche situations. Otherwise, it's like, oh yeah, yay, I can breathe in water. When are we going to have that underwater adventure? Never. So I'm not going to include prisoners. Let's see. So when the party is occupied, so there are bugbears, but I'm not going to worry about those. 2 bugbear guards. Okay, so we got the numbers right there. Oops, cell block. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Got to bodge you. Cell block. So we've got 2 bugbears. I don't know how many HD. Anyone want to take a guess how many HD you think a bugbear's got? I don't know offhand. It can't be more than a couple. Boars, carrion crawlers. Are they not here? Oh, bugbear. Oh wow. Actually, I thought it was going to be 2, but it's a 3 plus 1. So I think for those it's 2 points per hit die. So 6, and then plus 1 for that is 7. So 7 each. There's 2 of them, so 14 points. I don't think there's anything else. Okay, so I'm not worried about the prisoners because they're not part of the crew. 3 skeletons. Okay, there's a trap. Orc rebels. That's fine. They're not part of the crew either. So Bugbear Quarters complex. How complex is it? Not that complicated. Bugbear Quarters complex. We've got, how many did they say there were? How many? 12. Oh wow. All right, so I see. So it's a few rooms, but still I'll just tally them all together. So we have the bugbears. They're all 3 + 1, 8 hit die. So 7 points each. And there's 12, 24, 36. All right, that's a good number. 36 times 12, 432 points worth of bugbears. Oh, is there anything else? Oh, yes, so there is the bugbear captain. Is he more hit dice than a normal? No. Wow. So I forgot there's kind of a interspecies war here going down here. So the bugbear captain and lieutenants are trying to figure out how to wipe out the ogre, sorry, not the ogres, the orcs in the other room. That's not kind. Let's see, but so captain plus bugbear, I'll just keep them separate. Captain plus 4, I'll call them LTs, also 3 + 1 dice. So they are also, what did I say they were? 6, 7 points. All right, so that would be, that's 5 times what size was that? 35 points. Is that right? Is my mathiness correct? Right, 5 times 7, 35. Gosh. Yeah, okay. Going crazy. Going a little bit crazy. 6 guards. Guards equals 1 D, which is, what do you say? 6 times 7, 32. And I'm not going to worry about the slaves. They're forced labor. I mean, I guess, you know what? I don't know. They're unarmed. Maybe I should point them in. I'll put them in there. Because I don't know. I mean, I don't know how they'd factor in. They're sort of non-combatants, maybe, but I suppose you could argue that they might. There's 2 slave quarters, the good behavior and the bad one. I'm just going to have them in. I'm just going to put them in each. Wow, there's a lot in here, though. So we've got. No, that's not what I want to do. All right, we have 24 plus 30. Oops, 30 plus 24. So 51 orc slaves. 51 points. I guess they're part of the. I guess the fabric. They do they do stuff. So I'll put them in, even though they're definitely not voluntary, or they're not there by their own volition. So okay, so the unruly slave quarters. So positions W have 1 bugbear each. Handex and Morningstar armed, constantly watching. Okay, do I need to check the map? I suppose I could just add. Right, I'm going to add them all together, because from my standpoint for this, I don't care about the unruly versus the ruly. 48 plus 24 plus 16. It's 139 points. And then, well, do I have to check the map for? I think I do, because the bugbears are positioned where there's W's, but where is that? Where's the slave quarters? Oh, look at that. Very nice map. Where are those W's? WWWW. What room is this again? You got some troglodytes. 12 to 14 is the bad slaves. I see. So, okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4 bugbear guards. And I think there were 7 each. So what is that? 28 points. Okay. All right. Unruly. So yeah, that brings us. Whoops. Torture chamber. Yeah, I'm not counting the prisoners. There are 2 hill giants. So we're back to having some hill giants. The first hill giants, I think. Oh no, we had the keeper. Torture chamber. 2 hill giants. 8 hit die. That's 64 points. And now we get to the armory and smithy. More slaves. 7 dwarves. I guess I'll put them in there since I put the orc slaves in. It would be unfair of me to not put the dwarf slaves here. Oh, that's not called the dwarf slaves. They are dwarf slaves. Armory and smithy. Let's see. Oh, fire giants. Oh, interesting. Ryan asks, "What are we doing here? Converting a dungeon into hex press format?" I mentioned it before, but maybe you missed it. No, I'm not really doing a conversion. Is the Steading? It's a location based adventure that also happens to be a settlement, right? It's a settlement of hill giants and their associates. So I want to see how it would point out using the system that I've been developing. It's not going to be a perfect fit because this is as a dungeon, and obviously they weren't following any kind of rules of what should settlements have. So it's all going to be very rough. But I want to kind of see, well, how would this work if I wanted to say plunk this into a region that I'm working on, and say my region is using the rules insofar as I want to use the rules. Of course, you can just break them. I don't care. And I would if I wanted to. But if I was like, okay, well, I want to plunk this in here and I want to see how it would work basically by the rules. So how many points would they have? How many points do they need, et cetera, et cetera. So to do that, I have to know how many points the settlement would require. And the short answer is a lot. So that is why. That's what we're doing. I don't even know. I have no idea how many hit points a fire giant has. Where were the giants? Were they in the? I think they were probably in the expert. They are racking up a lot of points, and I mean, and it makes sense, right? It's an adventure. It is literally a small location adventure. It was originally made for a tournament. The meta of why this exists is way different than what we'd be doing, right? But I think it's kind of cool to take at this and say, well, okay, this is a dungeon and it is an adventure and all that stuff. But if I wanted to put something on my map as just a location, because I've rolled it up and I'm like, okay, yeah, hill giants are here, and kind of like, well, it's kind of neat to me. It's an interesting data point of I've been looking at it from kind of human. This is why I was doing that, manor stuff. Like, what are human, kind of medieval manors were like, and how many people did they have, and all that stuff, and so that we can look at that and get into that kind of ballpark. But now I'm sort of looking at the other direction. Well, let's take something fantastic that could also be put as a settlement. I mean, it's a settlement, it's a lair, it's a dungeon, but ultimately, you take away the fact that this is an adventure, just you look at a location on the map and say, what is this place? Well, it's a settlement. It is this Steading, this guy's hall. No different than a human hall, except that it's run by giants. So I want to see what it looks like. I want to see how it enters in. Wow, 11 plus 2. Whoosh. All right, so 11. So there 11 times, I think that's 8. All right, so each one of those is 11 times 8, right? 88. All right, and then half of 8 is 4, so another 8, so 96. So they're 96 each. Oops. 2 times 96, 192. So yeah, unfortunately, I got to go through this kind of. I mean, I don't know. I kind of find it interesting, but it is sort of a drudgery of a task of, all right, let me go through and get all these things done. Weirdly abandoned temple. That's fine. Vestry, natural cavern. So I'm not worried. So there are orc slaves here. I'm not worried about them because they're escaped. Have AI do it. I don't trust what the AI would do. A small tribe of trogs are forced to dwell here. Why are they forced? Oh, being traps between the orcs, trying to make do until they can escape. They're a separate thing. So I'm going to leave the trogs alone because they're not part of. They would be factored into kind of the dungeon. So another way to look at it, I guess, is there's a site. This is really I'm trying to think of it this way. There's a site plus the so I might have to come back to the trogs and some of those other things, but those would be part of the site, which is this natural caverny stuff, and not the so the lizards also wouldn't factor in there, and so the carrion crawlers. Those are all part of the site, so that's cool because that actually takes care of some of that stuff. Treasure room, secret room. I'm not seeing anybody else. Stone giants, 3 stone giants. Someone's leader of the Great Hall make their abode. So are the stone giants here? I thought maybe the stone giants were visiting. So maybe they're not. Do I need to read what's happening? I was trying to just grab through, but let's see. All right. So what's? Yeah. Notes for the GM. I really just want to see if those higher end giants are visitors or not. These adventurers must deliver a sharp check, deal a lesson to the clan of hill giants nearby, or else return. Yeah. This charge, that's fine. Grossly fat. You disgust me, Nosra. Unholy alliance. All right, maybe they do work here. Well, if they work here, I'll have to throw them back in. Seems like maybe they do. I thought they were visiting. They got manticores in there. Quarters for the stone giant miners. 3 stone giants who are subordinate to the leader in Grey Hall make their abode. They are piles of skins. These monsters are the master miners, the engineer for all the work in the dungeon. Well, I guess they're here. Man, are they? I'm gonna leave them out for right now because I'm gonna assume I'm just gonna say for the moment that the hill giants and the stone giants, they're visiting. They've been contracted to do work. They're not permanent residents. So I'm gonna leave them out for now. We do have 4 insane manticores. As if normal manticores weren't bad enough, you've got insane manticores. Let's see, how many hit dice do we think manticores have? Anyone want to take a guess? I can't say I know, and I don't even know which book they would be in. That's men. Oh, there he goes. Manticore, 6+1. Wow. 6+1 hit die. Keep hearing little buzzes. Is that my phone? Nope. Okay. So 6+1. Let's see. 6 times 8. 42 plus 3. 45 points each. So 45 times 4. 180 points. And even though they're basically trapped there, they're a defense. So they're working, whether they like it or not, they're working for the boss. I'm going to include them, even though they are much like the orcs and the dwarves and things. They're not there. They're not there because they want to. All right, we got the storage room, chief's room. Thus, this ends the expedition to the Steading. All right, so there we go. Now let's just calculate all this nonsense up. We can see what we get. Granted, I think it's going to be a lot. I mean, I could already tell. All right, so we started off with 12 plus 1,700. Already we're 128, 64, 216, 28 again. Where are we at now? 2248. We're going to add another, where were we? Yep, 256 plus 56 plus 17 plus 320 plus 64 plus 2 plus 90 plus 224. Where are we at now? Oh, man. All right. Now we got to go see. Plus 224 was the last one I did. Where was 2? Oh, there it is. All right. So now plus 72 plus 12 plus 64 plus 32 plus 14 plus 432 plus 35 plus 42 plus 139 plus 28 plus 64 4,000. All right, and then finally plus 7 plus 192 plus 180 for a full total of 4,590 points. Okay. And it doesn't matter. And if I'm off a little bit, I don't care. It's fine. I just want a rough ballpark. Okay, so our grand total 4,590 points. Nice and big. All right. Now, what kind of numbers? So how would I get to anything approaching that kind of number if I was going to use the settlement rules? So if we're talking a greater magnitude settlement, do they say? I don't think we have any idea. Let's see. Where is the hill? Where is the steading of the hill giant chief? I don't know if it's presumed it's in the actual hill, in some hills. Does it say? Let's see. The background says giants have been raiding lands of men in large bands with giants of different sorts in these marauding groups. Death and destruction have been laid heavily upon every place these monsters have visited. This has caused great anger in high places, for life and property loss means failure of the vows of noble rulers to protect the life and goods of each and every subject, and possible lean times for the rulers as well as the ruled. Just need a drink here. Therefore, a party of the bravest and most powerful adventurers has been assembled and given the charge to punish the miscreant giants. And we already talked about how they come back on their shields or not at all, sort of thing. Let's see. Great Timber Fortress. So guides are available to help, and then the leader has a splendid map showing exactly where the Great Timber Fortress of the Chief of the Hill Giants in the area is. It doesn't say what kind of terrain it's in. But I think this is one where, they're not worried about you getting to the hill giant. I'm just looking to see if at the end they have some map or anything. I don't think they do because it doesn't matter. Yeah. Well, here we have a picture. I'm going to say hill. All right, so they're in kind of a hill. They're in a hill location. They're in a hill location, which I'm down with. So that would mean that I can really squeeze this. I don't need to see much of this at all. That would indicate, well, one, it has to be a greater magnitude. So productivity, if it's I'm going to say it's cleared, but it's in the hills. So I think that's 1. Oh, let's see. If I go back here, what does my hex stocking say? Where would you be? I'm going to say 1 because it's been cleared, but it is in the hills. So peril is +1. So why do we get productivity? So it's 14 minus 2 is 12. And then we are in cleared or farmland, so I'm going to say that. So it's 13. But nothing is said about a river, so I'm going to presume there is no river. So 13 is where we're starting. So 66. And let's just say we max it out. So we're going to say, let's see. So what's 36 times, what did I say it was? 14 minus, no, hold on a minute. I lost my thinking here. So yeah, it's 2 and 2. So 14 minus 4 is 10. Plus 1, it's 11. Right, because we're adding 1. Yeah, so 11 times 36. Not going to get us near enough points. No. Whoa. Yeah, because it was, get out of there. Yeah. 36 times 11. Yeah, 396 points. Which ain't gonna cut it, son. But, and here's where I'm going to go. Do I have Worldographer open? I don't. I need some Worldography. So how many hexes? How many hexes? Oops, no, not you. How many hexes do I think? Well, I can figure it out. Let's do something file. Yeah, that's fine. Generate you a map. And then okay. It's fine. There we go. Right, Worldographer. All right, so we could say something like this. So let's just say that this is all stuff, and the hill giants are they're up here somewhere. So we'll throw in. I'm not a favorite. Throw in some. Throw in one of those monster face things. Let's just call it like that. That's where they are. Steading and the Hill Giant Chief is here. So at 3, man, at, gosh, 396 points. That's like I need 10 times that number plus to get anywhere close to that. Oh man. Yeah, I think I'm gonna need. I'm definitely gonna need some help. So one thing I could look at. So there's a couple of things I can do here to get this number up, but I'm not going to get up all the way to. No way. I could probably. So if we say this is a greater one, then we can say that it has its reach. We can kind of put its reach. So I think I said that lesser comes out of greater. So let's make its borders here for that reach area. So we're going to use a polygon. We're going to snap. We're going to use is there a border? Yes, there is a border. It's way too big. Even 10 is big. We'll do that. So we can go out. Start out here. Right? I think that's right. Yeah, 1, 2. Yeah, I think we're still okay. Yeah. Nope. It did this to me again. I did that. All right, now, yeah, let's see. I need to. Is it shift? Oh, is it control? Oh, control. Okay. All right. So now we got this kind of area. Let me see. How many hexes is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Right? You know what? This actually gets pretty. Hold on a minute. Let me do this again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Yeah. So we got 19 hexes here. Now, if we just for simplicity's sake, if this was all hills, let's say, we're actually if they take advantage of all those hexes, if they drain everything, just they're pulling in from there, then 306 times. Well, look at that. Suddenly, we got enough. Suddenly, we've got enough. So that is one solution. That if there's no other, because remember, theoretically, you're doing this out so that if there's no other settlements around, you can potentially have a larger kind of draw area. And these are all not, especially these are three, Worldographer doesn't tell you. You could set your hexes however size you want. But in Worldographer, it doesn't say anything about, how big your hexes are. These are 3 mile hexes. It is reasonable that that this is within their kind of radius of being able to sort of travel in and around. So essentially they're draining all the resources away from here. And so this is what they're doing. Now, it is likely in the scenario that, say, is against the Giants, I would bet if I was going to map this out and say, well, what does this scenario look like if I was kind of running it? So what I would say, and they don't give you any kind of idea of, it's not, whoops. they're not concerned. Oh, shoot, I didn't mean to do that. No. They're not concerned with how you get there or the kind of the greater thing, which is an interesting idea also. Like, they don't care. The game, the scenario does not say anything about, well, this is the situation. It's just, it's a one shot, basically. Go to the place and do the thing. So if I would imagine maybe there's a river, some kind of water course, we can assume, I would say that's probably, we're getting something like this, maybe. And maybe it just, I don't know. Say we have that as a river, and then say in terms of features, we've got castle, and then cottages, a cottage industry. Then maybe we've got, potentially all up and down here. They've something like that, right? So we've got this whole settled thing by people, and they are conflicting with the hill giants. We've got classic competition. So if this is, maybe this is also greater. So they're kind of radius, and I'm just not going to include the water. Oh, that looks, ugh, why is it so huge? Something like this. So we've clearly got a problem. A problem is going to naturally arise between these two groups. Right? Because this is their draw. And I think I kind of like that the system will sort of give you its own. You get to it can tell you basically where your borderlands are, essentially. It is telling you exactly where your borders are, your borderlands. Because in here, that's what we've got. And then I can make some other thing, give it kind of a, I don't want it to shade it too much. Oh no, I don't want that. No. Can I get a fill? Inner shadow, no, not. I want a fill. How do I get a fill in this shape? Change, drop shadow, inner shadow, box. Oh, there it is. Oh. And let's set this opacity way down. So then we could see that we've got essentially a war zone, right? All right, right here. Right there. And we can make this a bit more opaque. So we got this war zone. So I think that's pretty cool. Nice kind of it's a little bit of proof of concept, right? So if I was starting out and thinking, So I guess the use case for this is twofold. One, if you wanted to build out a monster setting, something with a lot of high HD creatures, that's what you want. Because one thing I want is, look, I want I'm building this for multiple purposes. One is you don't have anything and you're rolling stuff out and you're generating, which is great. But I do want it to be flexible enough that you can come at it the other direction, which is, okay, I've got this region and I want to put this thing in here, but I want to have a system, something systematic, or a way to systematically or programmatically, procedurally figure out the impact. Like, one, how does this exist here, right? How does this steading of the hill giants exist in this region? And if you want to take the assumption of this system, this is how you do it. That this thing is here and it is extended out to if it's pushed out in all directions, this is how you can get to it where it has all these critters in there. How do they support that? Because they've done this. And then you look at it, well, look, in my scenario, they're raiding areas of creatures. Now, they don't have to be right next door to each other because obviously they're creatures, they can move, but just I'm using this kind of simple radius. And my data, I could probably add rules that, hey, for raids and other things, maybe even double this, but this is kind of where they're extremely comfortable getting to. And potentially, we could look at it probably and say that, this has probably become a ruin because they've destroyed it. So it was a settlement, but then blank. Oh, actually, maybe I should erase first before I do that. So, let's see. Does that delete both of them? No. Maybe some of these that are really close proximity have already been, ruined, kind of thing. Whatever. You can figure out how that would work. But the idea is you have this, again, it's kind of a programmatic way of looking and say, well, where are these borderlands? Where are these areas between these two factions, if you will? What's the extent of it? And there you go. These guys are pushing out. These guys are pushing in. And it kind of, you kind of look at it, if you want to, that if you took this layer and you stuck it out in the mountains here, their everyday wandering is just not going to bring them close enough. Like, you could coexist with this happening over here if the hill giants were way out here. But they chose, or they were here, right? They'd be far away, but they chose to migrate and put out this outpost over here. Maybe there is more, depending on where you want to put the other areas, that now you're here, and now you've got this conflict zone. And then you can decide how this conflict zone works out. So it's kind of cool that the system, I could kind of figure out how to play within the system, say, okay, to make this thing work, to make this hill steading work, they need to be drawing out from a whole number of hexes. And because they're within kind of that range, that's still pretty close, within basically a day's march, and they're not, they're draining those resources. They're sending out those, they're whatever, the timber and everything they're kind of doing. They're not building settlements out there. They're just pulling everything in. Maybe the orcs were back here somewhere. Maybe the original orc lands were somewhere over here, and they brought those in. Like, who knows? Lots of things to question. But the system can do it, and the system, I think working as intended, because it's creating situations where you could say, okay, this is how you get this many points, but now they've had to spread out to this area. So if I was building this up and I'd rolled this guy here and I'd rolled this guy here, and I'd figure out, well, this is what I want, or this is what I'm getting. And so they're spreading out here following the river. And these guys, because I decided that their high points are spreading out this way, then I've created this impact, which gives this conflict. And then I get to have fun with figuring out what happened, if I want to put it in history, or figuring out how it becomes adventuring stuff for players to do. So cool. It's working after a fashion. Now, part of it's, I think the difficult part is, how do I think I can write up in a way that kind of makes sense, but, and I could probably roll off. We want to have some more dice involved as to how far does these guys extend. If I wanted some rules, I think the easy part is, if you're on these areas, you're going to follow the river that way. With hills and things, it's a little bit different, but I might just say, hey, push out. Anyway, cool. This was fun. I don't know if it was too exciting for folks out there, but it's fun to see it work. It was fun going through the module to just to see the pointing, the way stuff points out, and fun that I could figure out a way to make it work without really having to change anything. So good proof of concept, I guess. Anyhow, that's all I've got for now. Everybody have a great rest of your day, night, whenever you end up watching or listening to this. Game on, and I'll talk to you later. Bye now.